Hey there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate.
And today we're taking a look at Cindr by Smirk Laughter Games.
Cindr is a game that is based on Tinder, except in this one you are dating dragons. And you are going to be deciding whether you're going to swipe left or you're going to swipe right and go on a date with the dragon. This is a dice rolling game in which you are pushing your luck, trying to match up, get so many points, trying not to bust and flame out on a date. You are wanting to get the most points. It's a bit of a race game. Whoever can get to the set number of points first is going to be the winner. Let's take a look at it down below. We'll come back and share our thoughts on this as a gamer and non-gamer.
All right, I have Cindr on the table here. Let me show you guys how this dice rolling game about dating dragons works. In this game, you're going to have a number of profile cards here that are going to depict your character in the game. You can see there's quite a lot in this game, and I'm just going to show you this one here because I have already written on the back here. You get to make up a profile name, the pronoun, what they like, taters and veggies, and what they dislike, city life. That is my character here. You also are going to choose one of these characteristics per each row, having at a maximum 2 per column here. So looking at this in more detail here, I could say that as for someone who is a treasure in regards to how they treasure their money, they're going to be a hoarder. This person prefers a mild climate. We are going to be very active and very outgoing. And so these are my characteristics here. And this is important whenever it comes to the meat of this game, because what you're going to be doing is you're going on your turn, you're going to be taking a look at the top dragon here. And so in this one in particular says Felix Catkeeper. And you're going to read everything and look at the picture and denote everything on this card. This one in particular says, I've traveled far and wide to find rare and fluffy felines to befriend. I'd love to tell you more if you're even half as adorable as they are. And you'll decide whether you want to swipe left or swipe right, because if you swipe left, you are passing up on this dragon, and they are going to go into the dating row here. And you'll go on to the next dragon. You'll look at everything on their profile, and if you like what you see here, you might swipe right. Whenever you swipe right, you're going to flip the card over, and you're going to look at what's on the back side of the card here, which is going to show you their characteristics, which are the same type of characteristics as what you see on your profile here, but some of the cards are going to have changes based on the bottom when you are dating them if certain things happen, such as after a successful date or if you get burned. We'll cover what that means here in just a second. Anyhow, you are going to compare what you see on the dragon's profile card with what is on your profile. Now, as you're doing this, you're also going to be paying attention to the location of where you are going on your date. This one in particular says soaring heights, learn to fly together, take a lesson with one of our talented instructors, or take wing with someone special. And you'll flip this over and it will tell you the date that you're going to be going on and what special rules apply to this date. As you can see here, you can pay 1 love point to upgrade 1 single die by 1. Well, let's cover what those dies are. So back to our characteristics here. For every characteristic that you match with the dragon, you're going to get a green die. And the green dies are the best because they're going to have 4 hearts on them and only 2 burns. Let me see if I can get that in focus for you guys there. And the burns are what you want to try to avoid. You want to get the hearts. Now, if you are 1 away from what they picked, well, you're going to get a blue die. So in this case, I would get a blue die. And the blue dies are not as good. They're going to have 3 and 3, 3 flames and 3 hearts. And if you are 2 away, so let's, I got both greens by chance on this one here, but let's pretend that I had picked hibernates and they are very active. Well, you're going to get a red die, and the red dies are not great at all. They are only going to have hearts on 2 sides and 4 flames. Now, whatever you've got in your pool, again, you're going to make sure to pay attention to anything that might be written on the cards because that might change up your pool of dice. And you're going to begin your date with this dragon. And going back to our location card here, in this particular one, it says we are taking a lesson together. So we are going on a flight lesson, perhaps. This is the meetup portion of the date. I take a look at what I rolled. For any hearts, those are going to be points at the end of my round, so I want to try to get as many of those. But for any flames, that's going to go on top of the dating card. And if I get 3 flames, then I've burned out of the date. I have basically ruined my chances with that particular dragon, and the date is over. So I've got 1 flame here, and I could stop and bank any of my hearts that I have here, circling that number on my love point track here, because ultimately what you're trying to do is be the first player to get to 21. Or I could go on to the second part of the date. You can see here that the second part of the date, the next step is the first flight. And when I do that, if I choose to keep going, well, then I re-roll my hearts, and oh no, I've gotten 3 flames. I have burned out. I basically bust and I lose all of my hearts. Had I gotten lucky, let's say I got another heart here. Now I only have 2 flames. I could stop now, taking my 2 hearts plus the 3 from the first row, giving me a total of 5, and I could stop, or I could press my luck and go on to the third stage of the date, trying to get as many hearts as I can. And however many hearts you end up getting, you're going to keep track here. And if you do make it to the second or third stage of the date, then it is a successful date. And you get to keep this dragon in your dating pool. They'll sit right here next to your card. Otherwise, if it was an unsuccessful date or you burned out, that dragon is going to come back to the dating row, and it'll be the next player's turn. And they can pick a dragon in this dating row, or they can take off the top. And the dating row only holds 3 dragons, so if you ever swipe left on the dragon that's on the top and you've got 3 here, then this dragon is gone from the game, and you continue the game that way. Now, if you do burn out, all is not lost. You are able to get one of these special cards. Depending on how many flames you rolled on your last turn, you either get to take a try again card if you rolled only 1 flame, which allows you to re-roll a fire result from your last roll if you want to spin this card. If you got 2 flames on your burnout roll, then you got an apology card, which allows you to remove a fire result, placing that die aside. Or if you did get 3 flames all in one roll, then you get a do-over card, which allows you to re-roll all fire results from your last roll. So that's pretty nice. You can spin those whenever you would like. That's pretty much the gist of the game. There are special things that are going to be on the cards that involve things called sparks, which are special little fire icons on some of the dice here. Let's see if I can find one for you real quick. There you go. Those are the sparks right there. You have to roll those specifically in order to be able to use special abilities and that sort of thing. But there you have it. That is Cindr. Let's go back up top and we'll share our thoughts on this one.
All right, we're back. And now we're going to share our thoughts on Cindr from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. That's going to be really hard to say right throughout this video, Cindr and not Tinder. Sam, what were your first impressions with this game? I'm interested to find out.
I just didn't get it. I didn't understand. He explained it to me exactly how he explained in the intro. It's like Tinder, but with dragons. And just that is probably not the best way to start any conversation ever.
I think I might have lost you right at that point. It's just a very interesting idea. Bizarre is the word that comes to my mind as I was explaining it, opening it, reading the rules, playing it. Yeah.
And it's not filling out your profile or picking your profile was interesting.
Yeah.
And then the actual play, it's not a difficult game. It's interesting. But I think through the whole thing, you're just thinking, what am I doing?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And so it's just a very different game.
Yeah, for me, I think the idea with this game is extremely interesting. You know, making a game based off of the Tinder idea, the app, is interesting, and I would like to see it maybe expanded on in some ways. I don't know about the fantasy theme mixed into it with the dragons and all of that. To me, that was a little odd, a little bizarre. But the game kind of got lost in the theme, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, this is a push your luck game in which you are rolling dice, trying not to flame out, bust, in other words. And that, again, goes with the theme. This game is 100% theme, albeit a bizarre theme. The gaming experience for me was not super intriguing or one that left me wanted to keep going and playing more.
Yeah.
It's a 40-minute game, and for me it felt long. It felt like it overstayed its welcome a little bit. There were some things about the cards that just didn't seem to make sense to me. The location cards were I don't feel like I really understood their presence in the game. They're supposed to add benefits or take benefits away, but the descriptions to kind of give you a little bit of a clue as far as, is this a location I want to go to or not with this dragon, wasn't really, it didn't seem to really make sense.
Yeah.
And then not only that, there's not anything you can do about that location. You can't change it up. You don't get a choice of different locations.
Why?
You're just stuck with it. So that's totally random. And then even some of the dragons, their profiles I felt didn't really match who they really were, which maybe that's the whole point, because that's kind of how Tinder is.
They get to pretend.
You get to be somebody you're not. Not
that you should do that.
Yeah, not that you should do that. So for me, there was a lot of randomness and a push your luck game that didn't add up to an experience that left me wanting to come back to it and keep going. What about for you, Sam?
I mean, I agree with everything. It was just a very odd game. The whole time you're playing it, you're just kind of waiting for something to happen almost. And then it does overstay its welcome a little bit. So not my favorite, but it was definitely an interesting take on Tinder, on something that people use now. So I think we may see more of these games in the future with
we will.
All of the social media apps, and I think it's a good first try, and I think we'll see a lot more in the future.
Yeah, I think we will. In fact, I've already seen some other games out there that are similar idea to this that are coming out on Kickstarter. I'm not going to name them or anything, but yeah. Also, I think that the times in this game was exciting, and it did work out, and the rolls went great. You got rewarded with that in points, but you could lose points later on in other turns, and that kind of robbed from the good parts in the game. I felt like you were penalized, and so it was kind of just a long, drawn-out experience, getting to however many points you need to get. I can't remember off the top of my head now, 21 or something like that. So anyhow, let's get into pros and cons with this game, Sam. What were the things that did work out well for you as far as a non-gamer when playing this one?
I mean, it was an easy game to play in itself. I mean, the theme aside, it's an easy game to understand. It's an easy game to play. It's a little long, but it's definitely not the longest game we've ever played. Yeah. So, I think those are definitely benefits. And there may be somebody out there that's really into fantasy and things like that. And this may be right up their alley. It's just wasn't for us.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've mentioned before that this is an innovative theme. It's a real novel theme, and it will definitely turn some heads. Oh, there's a game kind of like Tinder, and it's for dragons.
Yeah,
like that will definitely catch someone's attention. So it has that going for it for sure. What about some cons?
It was just like Lance said, the theme was just not perfect. It just wasn't. I don't know.
It was so far out there that I think it was too far out.
Just a little odd.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
All right. There you go. Let's get into our score on this one. Scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. What do you give Cindr?
I mean, I'd probably give it like a 4.5.
Okay. Yeah. I'm probably, I don't know, 5.6, somewhere in that ballpark. Just wasn't the right game for us. I felt like we couldn't really wrap our minds around the whole theme of it, and the theme is so thick in this game that I feel like you really gotta like that theme to want to keep coming back to the gameplay for it. And so the theme is stronger than the gameplay, in my opinion, on this game, and it just didn't really do us. It didn't hit us where it needs to hit us when it comes to bringing us back to it. So it might be a great game out there for someone else, just not the right one for us.
Yeah.
So that is Cindr from Smirk Laughter Games.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.